What's up, guys? Pet City. I'm back giving you guys another gameplay commentary for Black Ops 3. And this is a new series called Fan Theory Fridays, which is I take popular fan theories from different TV shows, movies, games, and bring them into a series that I'm going to release every Friday. So, with Star Wars Force Awakens only a mere 2 weeks away, I want to talk about Star Wars fan theories. And the biggest fan theory right now, or the biggest speculation, is why is Luke not on the movie poster? Why is Luke not in the trailers? And as J.J. Abrams has been quoted saying, this is not an accident. So it got people thinking, well, how could this be? And this is a, I guess, article or a theory someone wrote. I found on Huffington Post. I read it a long time ago, but I think it's brilliant, and I don't care what your thoughts are on Huffington Post, but I want to read the theory and then give my kind of 2 cents about it. So, this is it. This, for me, is writing something that that has never sat well with me. The oddball and the underwhelming ending of Return of the Jedi. Luke turned. I've had this argument with friends so many times. Some think as I do, others remain convinced that Luke ended the original trilogy as a good guy. I say he, in fact, had turned to the dark side, and we watched it happen in blissful ignorance, choosing to believe that he would always be the good guy. Lucas wanted it this way so he could sell more toys, but there's way more to this story. Seeing these previews, I think my theory might be correct. So the previews that we've seen, the numerous trailers we've seen, his theory that Luke has turned could be correct, because we haven't seen them in any of the movie art. But I continue. Luke gave into the dark side to save his friends and defeat Vader and the Emperor. We don't know what will happen after that, and hopefully we'll find out in December, and we'll see if I'm right. Here are my arguments in no particular order. So, what I want to say before I finish this fan theory is that I firmly believe as well that Luke has turned to the dark side. However, I feel that he's used the dark side as fuel and power to be able to defeat both Vader and the Emperor, and I don't think that he's created the New World Order, or the New Order of the Sith. But I'll get into that in a second. Let's continue. The cave. Remember your failure at the cave. Yoda knew the whole time that Luke was on the same path as Anakin. He was reluctant to train him and said flatly that Luke would give in to the dark side if he left Dagobah to save his friends. The most striking part of this whole sequence, Luke's training with Yoda, is the cave. Many people, my friends included, put it off as foreshadowing Luke's discovery that Vader is his father. I think it's foreshadowing that Luke will become his father. Of course, you don't know Vader's his dad at this point, but at the end of the film, when I thought back to the cave, it made perfect sense. It's good, solid plot juice. Becoming your parents or trying not to is a huge motivator. And Luke failed. According to Yoda, more than that, Yoda issued this warning, which Luke completely ignored. Only a fully trained Jedi Knight with the Force as his ally will conquer Vader and his Emperor. If you end your training now, if you choose the quick and easy path as Vader did, you'll become an agent of evil. That is one of the best quotes in the Star Wars universe. I'll just put that out there. There it is. Yoda said it point blank. How many times has Yoda been wrong in this first 6 films? It's almost like he can see the future sometimes. He knew Luke was on the path to become his father, and by leaving he failed at preventing it. Told you I did. Reckless he is. Now matters are worse. This is the start of Luke's slide. The original ending. The original ending of Return of the Jedi is incredibly hokey, but there is a poignant scene where Luke burns his dad's body, and you could feel his tension and anger. None of this was supposed to happen according to this 2010 LA Times article. Remember, I'm going to link the article down below in the description. You guys can read it yourself. We had an outline and George changed everything, Kurtz said. Instead of bittersweet poignant, he wanted a euphoric ending with everybody happy. The discussed ending of the film that Kurtz favored presented the rebel forces in tatters, Leia grappling with her new duties as queen, and Luke walking off alone, like Clint Eastwood in his spaghetti westerns, as Kurtz put it. And there's also a part of this ending as well that Han Solo dies. Very interesting. This is where story and solid plot development separate from building a franchise designed to sell toys. It's widely known that Lucas favored toy sales over character and storyline, again from Kurtz. I could see where things were headed, Kurtz said. The toy business began to drive the Lucasfilm empire. It's a shame. They make 3 times as much on toys as they do on films. It's natural to make decisions that protect the toy business, but that's not the best thing for making quality films. The first film, Empire, and Empire were about story and character, but I could see that George's priorities were changing. I so wish I saw the Return of the Jedi that Kurtz wanted. It would have made so much more sense. Empire built on the mythological core of Star Wars and worked on the natural tension that exists in the way we perceive good and evil. Luke thought he was doing good by racing to rescue his friends. Anakin thought he was doing good by confronting the Jedi Council and destroying the Order itself. A very blurred matter of perspective. Trying to do good can be incredibly destructive. Mark Hamill himself thought that Luke, as a dark Jedi, was the natural turn of events. He actually, and I'll read this quote actually, as an actor that would have been more fun to play. I thought that's the way it was going when we finished Empire. I figured that's what will be the pivotal moment. I'll come back, but it will be with, I have Han Solo in my crosshairs, and I'll be about to kill him, or about to kill the princess, or about to kill somebody that we care about. It's an old cornball movie, like World War II movies. So, Mark Hamill himself is quoted as saying it would be better if Luke had turned to the dark side or had been a darker character. Now, in an interview, he said that. Who else was in that interview or sitting at the same table as him? J.J. Abrams. Which strengthens the theory that Luke could be evil in The Force Awakens. Again, solid plot juice. One has to wonder if Hamill played Luke this way despite what Lucas wanted, recognizing the need for Luke to have clear a bit of motivation. I think he did just that. Indeed, there is a clear change of character as we move from Empire to Return of the Jedi. Luke becomes more serious, a little more sinister, and rocks the uniform pretty well. Nevertheless, I'm taking Captain Solo and his friends. You can either profit by this or be destroyed. It's your choice, but I warn you not to underestimate my power. Was that a threat? A touch of arrogance, perhaps? No, Luke would never. As a token of my gratitude, I present you these 2 droids. Both are hardworking and will serve you well. 1 second, hold on here. Whoa, was that a lie? Why, yes it was. Luke is giving in. He's drawn to the dark side. Wow. Luke lies? Keep that in mind. You might be thinking, nah, no way, why would he do that? The answer is that he is destructively trying to do good and his training is not enough to allow him to see this. As Yoda warned, he is becoming an agent of evil. Which actually comes in handy later on, because the only way he could beat his dad is to, in a fight is, Luke turned. We all watched it. The Empire was working Luke pretty hard, and croaked in his guttural monotone. Take your weapon, strike me down, with all your hatred and your journey to the dark side will be complete. Wow, that was an awful Empire. That's an awful Emperor Palpatine. I apologize everyone for having to deal with that. But I continue, and guess what? Luke tried. And that's when he draws his lightsaber on the Emperor and goes, ah. And you see the awesome shades of Christmas with the green lightsaber matching the red lightsaber. But I digress. Later in the sequence, Luke loses it completely when Vader finds his soft spot, caring about his friends, and squeezes hard. Saving friends and now family, Vader has just threatened his sister and Luke gives in. This doesn't make sense if Luke has been a good guy the whole time. It makes perfect sense if he has indeed failed his training, which he did, and doesn't have the ability to withstand his dad, whom he idolized and wanted to be just like all of his life. Easy to see, easy to believe. When I first saw this scene as a kid, I remember being completely confused. I thought that of course Luke turned, but only a little bit. After all, he needed the power from the dark side to beat his dad, right? And he acted like a complete maniac, but it was only temporary, and phew, he came back from the edge. This people is a plot hole. It doesn't make any sense in terms of the story, and also Luke's character. It doesn't follow. Luke's motivation at all becomes he quite clearly doesn't have any motivation to stay a good guy. He's just seeing what he could do with his dark powers. Defeat the bad guys, save people. Your hate has made you powerful. Luke confronted and defeated his father only by giving into his fear and hatred, driven by a desire to protect his sister, whom he loved dearly, and who basically set him on the whole damn deal to begin with. Help Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. You can see this clearly as he swings away at Vader violently, beating on him with all the fear and rage that is swelling up in him, fired by a desire to protect his sister and friends. This next scene is one of the most telling. When I first saw it, I thought that Luke was realizing he gave in, and that's bad. What I think really happened was that Luke was filled with blood and lust with blood, lust, and a surge of satisfaction in his victory, staring at his fist, marveling at its power. And why wouldn't he be? He just kicked Vader's ass. Come on, tell me you wouldn't feel that too. The Emperor sees this as well. He thinks he has won Luke over, and he gloats a bit. Good. Now, I'm not going to do the voice. I'm not. Good. Now you fulfill your destiny. You'll take your father's place at my side. From the Emperor's perspective, it seems like this is all wrapped up. No? Vader is lying there on the floor. Luke just turned. Let's close the deal. But you can watch what happens next in two very different ways. The first, most obvious, is that Luke looks at his mechanical fist and then at his dad's severed hand and realizes what could happen. Oh no. Let's make sure we come back from this ledge and stay on the good side. This makes no sense in terms of Luke's motivation. Or what I think is that Luke looked at his fist and realized the effectiveness of his new power, soaked in the revenge. The movie was entitled Revenge of the Jedi originally. I think this is why. And let the hatred indeed fill him, indeed make him powerful. Now watch as he turns, rises, and faces the Empire full of arrogance, brimming with dark power. I think Hamill played this scene brilliantly. I'll never turn to the dark side. You failed, Your Highness. I am a Jedi like my father before me. Complete lie! Complete lie. Now, he could be a Jedi, but he could be a dark Jedi. There's nothing that says you cannot be part of the dark side and still be a Jedi. But I'll continue. This would seemingly blow a hole in my story. Luke just flatly said he would never turn. He monologues for a bit about why he'll be a good guy. He's also lying through his teeth like he did to Jabba above. You'll see that in the article if you read it. But why would he lie? Because he has to take out the Emperor and he knows his dad Vader is weakened and vulnerable. What happens next is a bit of deja vu. The Emperor has realized that he has created just a little bit more than an apprentice. He's created a rival. Why else would the Emperor start with taunts right then? The Emperor has Luke exactly where he wants him. It doesn't make any sense to stop now, unless the Emperor fears Luke, as he should. He just took out Vader out of the equation. The Emperor tries to destroy him with the old shock treatment in the same way we saw in the Revenge of the Sith facing off against Mace Windu. In that scene, Palpatine played on the sympathies of Anakin to cut Windu's hand off so he could toss Windu out the window. In this scene, Luke plays his dad in the exact same way to toss the Emperor down the abyss. Symbolism. That shock treatment, he basically brushed it off. Luke is a badass. It's only the way the whole scene makes any sense at all. Watch those scenes again. Watch Luke's eyes as he watches Vader die. Now, rather than the obvious thing, that Luke is thinking about the lost relationship with his dad. Consider that Luke is upset about not being able to rule a galaxy as father and son. It might not seem plausible, but it's the only thing that ties up the gaping plot hole. Consider Luke's primary motivation at the beginning to find out more about his father and to be a great pilot and Jedi like him. It is so unreasonable to think he did just that. He betrayed by the person he trusted most, Obi-Wan, not telling him about his dad, and Yoda warned him about his failure. The motivation is clear. Watch Return of the Jedi again, but this time with the idea that Luke is actually drawn to his dad's power and doesn't have the ability or training to resist using it to destructively do good. His demeanor is a little bit more serious throughout, and he has very palpable dark edge. Jabba the Hutt found out what happens when you cross Luke, which reminds me of something. I killed them. I killed them all. They're dead, every single one of them. And not just the men, but the women and the children. So that's the end of this very interesting fan theory that I am in love with, and I really hope that it is kind of true, and we're going to see Luke be a bit darker in The Force Awakens, and maybe that's why we haven't seen him. The other thing, too, is I don't think he's Kylo Ren's master, and I don't think he's Finn's master either. I think he's experimenting with Dark Jedi, using the dark side of the Force to still do good. And that's maybe why he's broken off from his friends and why we haven't seen him, is because he's maybe gone a little bit crazier because he's coping with all this hatred that's flown through him of destroying his own father, destroying the Emperor, and now this has risen anyways, and he wants to figure out a way to use his own dark power to do it, using the dark side of the Force to still do good, and that's his intentions, I think. I don't think his intentions are to use it for dark things. I don't think he's a Sith. I still think he's quote-unquote a good guy, but he uses dark powers to do it. And I think that's actually a different way to look at the Force Awakens trailers and maybe why he isn't in it is because he's actually left his friends and is looking at a different way of doing things, which could bring a different feel to the series. And I'm more impressed if that's the route that they're going to take in The Force Awakens. If, let's say, Finn's the good guy, Kylo Ren's the bad guy, and then you have Luke kind of in limbo where we don't really know if he's the good guy in this movie or if he is the bad guy. I think that's a different way, different angle to take as well. I want your guys' opinions down below. Please comment. Let me know what you think of this fan theory. If you think it's bogus, if you think it could be something we see in The Force Awakens, if Luke has actually turned, we do not know. We'll find out December 18th, or if you're lucky like me, you bought tickets early and get to see it December 17th. I am so jacked up for this movie. Hope you guys are too. If you're looking forward to Star Wars, hit that like button. If you want to see more fan theories next Friday, or the Friday after that, or the Friday after that, hit the subscribe button. And as always, if there's anything I can improve on, please leave it down low in the comment section. I read all my comments, and until next time, guys, I'm Pet City. Talk to you guys later. Peace.